For instance, we now have established a consistent rhythm of classes every week. On Tuesdays, I teach what I call a traditions class, exploring themes in traditional Sufism, classical Sufism, aspects of practice, texts from the medieval Sufi tradition, concepts of Ibn Arabi, etc. Just looking at them and exploring them in the traditional texts and having a dialogue about them, and so that we are connected to our roots in the deeper Sufi tradition. Likewise, on Thursdays, we are holding consistently Thursday message classes, which are based in the teachings of Hazrat Inayat Khan and Universalist Sufism. So the Sufi path that we follow here is not necessarily bound exclusively to Islam. It is a universalist path that can be applied and used in many different ways. And so on Thursdays we talk about the themes of Universalist Sufism, exploring them out of texts by Hazrat Inayat Khan, and again having a dialogue about what they mean and strengthening our own understanding of why we're attracted to this particular type of Sufism and grounding in its values. In the same way, we're also trying to put more emphasis on spiritual practice in the community. We have, one of the just most beautiful retreat centers in the country, set here, on the mountain and with the farm nearby, and so it's a wonderful setting for doing spiritual practice. And we have our wonderful meditation hall. And so since I've come, I've really thought a lot about making sure that various hours of prayer are happening daily in the meditation hall, as well as the practices that are particular to this Inayati or Universalist Sufi lineage. So I've been talking to people about and trying to stimulate more interest in people within the community keeping the hours of prayer in the meditation hall. Which is not to say I'm trying to encourage everybody to show up in the meditation hall 3 times a day, but the thinking is that various volunteers in the community should, if they feel called to, act as guardians of the spiritual life of the community, volunteering to go at 7 in the morning, at 12 in the afternoon, and 5 in the evening, different people, just to go, and if they feel like it, to ring the bell beforehand, 10 minutes beforehand, to go to the meditation hall and say the prayers, the Universalist Inayati Sufi prayers that were composed by Hazrat Inayat Khan, say the prayers in the order that's given. And also, if they have time and feel committed to do so, to practice zikr during that hour, or spend some time there pursuing one of the other meditation practices of our tradition, as a way of making sure that these prayers and these practices, if nowhere else in the country, are being done here consistently for everyone. And it just has to be one individual doing that, taking their turn to serve the community in this way. And we've already had volunteers who've begun to hold this, and right now our community is not at its highest population rate, so it's a little more difficult. But 4 or 5 of us have been doing this. And I think it's an extremely important activity for us. I will say that as I've laid out the ideal of what that practice should look like, that ideal might seem difficult for one person to maintain. They may not have an hour to spend in the meditation hall, or even a half an hour. And that's less important. What is more important is people, as they have time, sacrificing just a little bit of that time to go at the top of the hour and make sure that those prayers are said for everyone here. Because not everybody has the luxury of time to do it and all show up at the same time. But it would be good for everyone to know there's something consoling for the entire community if they know somebody else is maintaining that rhythm, and that the rhythm is maintained so that when they do have the opportunity, they can just drop into it. It's much harder to do something de novo, just new and fresh, out of nowhere if nobody else is doing it. But if it's happening regularly, it will be encouraging to others to help them to just drop into the rhythm. So if you can, please join in this practice and volunteer, whether you're on Chair Factory Road and maybe once a week you feel like maybe you want to come and use the sign-up sheet that's in Razak to sign up for just a half an hour midday on Wednesday. That will be tremendously helpful, because the abode is not just the residents on the campus, but it's the whole community that are holding it, who care about it.